When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. You want to get access to any of my early content that I make, check out the Discord. This is the Second Chance of Life, Part 7, the Eradication Plan. It has been several days since the many incidents that happened in Gotham City. The Joker continued on his crazy plan. Meanwhile, Rose spent a few days with Harley Quinn. Eventually, they had to go their separate ways. Harley didn't seem to want to separate, but she had things to do. As Rose made her way back to the greenhouse on top of the building where Rose met Harley Quinn initially, Rose began to convert all the plants inside the garden, or the greenhouse, into her own. Smaller size, but they are extremely dangerous. She kept doing this until her teacher finally contacted her through their mind link using the green. "Can you hear me, little one?" "I can, teacher." "Good, I have a couple missions for you, but I'll discuss that in person. I'll be heading to your location very soon." "Understood, teacher. I'll wait for your arrival. I'm in part of the city that's filled with my plants, on top of a building inside a greenhouse. It's hard not to miss. I see you're already claiming your own territory. I take what I want, teacher. The humans don't matter." "Well said. I'll see you real soon." As they cut their link connection, or just the link itself, Rose created several seeds in her hand and began to place them in the dirt and use her water manipulation to water them, as several black Venus flytraps sprouted. They're small, but they're growing quite fast. They're about the size of a cat that hasn't been full grown, but near is the size of a kitten. So it's like right in the middle between the kitten phase and the adult phase. Rose captured several small birds outside by capturing them with her black vines, as she dragged them inside the greenhouse to begin to feed them to her Venus flytraps. It only took Floronic Man a couple hours to appear on the roof right outside the greenhouse. Rose could sense her teacher has arrived, so she met him outside of the garden or greenhouse. As she saw Floronic Man with his hands behind his back, gazing upon the scenery of pure chaos that's erupting in Gotham City. Rose stand right beside him. "You're not surprised at the city's condition, teacher?" "Of course not, little one. After all, I'm the mastermind of all this." As he gestured with his hands towards the pure chaos running rampant across this large part of Gotham. "After all, no good scientist would be with proper test subjects. Let's go, Rose. I'll tell you what exactly I want you to do in good time. I need to get a status check with one of my associates. Very well, teacher. Floronic man bent down. Get on, little one. As Rose climbed onto his shoulder, as Rose climbed onto the Floronic man's back and wrapped her arms around his neck, Floronic man took a running start and leaped up in the middle of the air. While in the middle of the air, in midair, Rose created a large eclipse flower that grew rapidly, reaching up in the middle of the air, hovering over the large buildings, getting Floronic man and Rose easier access to one of the blimps. As Floronic man jumped from the eclipse flower and landed on the catwalk of one of the blimps. It's a small pathway to get to one side of the blimp to another. From the outside, narrow enough for two people to travel. As Rose hop onto the ground and began to follow her teacher as they entered one of the doors, gaining entry to one of the blimps. Good. Floronic man, you're here. Who's the redhead child? This is my student that I've been mentoring. Don't mind her. How things going on your end, Scarecrow? Very well. It's going pretty good. The new fear toxin that you helped me develop is quite effective, far more potent than my normal dose that I'm able to produce. Good. Now we can start phase 2. Already? Yes, it's only a matter of time before the Batman gets involved. Once stage 2 is activated, it will slow him down. Unfortunately, we don't have the necessary equipment to activate stage 2 officially. That's where my protege comes in. Rose, come over here, dear. As Rose got closer to her teacher and Scarecrow. Rose, this is one of my colleagues, Scarecrow. This is my protege, Rose. Scarecrow gave the girl a good look. He couldn't help himself to think the girl resembles Poison Ivy quite a bit, but a much younger version. Of course, there's differences in the face, but the similarities are remarkable. As Scarecrow bent down to one knee to be at eye level with the redhead. Nice to meet you, young lady. Now introductions out of the way. I need you to head to Metropolis. As Scarecrow activated the monitor, showing pictures of different pieces of technology that they need. We need several pieces of LexCorp's technology so we could implement stage 2. Each piece of technology we need is not all that impressive, but altogether, it will create a device that generates a pulse of energy that I'm going to replace with one of my personal cores energy, infuse with my blood, modify it to my specific specifications. What exactly are you going to do with this device, teacher? It's quite simple. I plan to use the device using my own blood and my own serum and expose it to the core of the device and expose the humans. And I'm going to be quite interested on the effects on their bodies. I want to see if we're able to convert the humans to something like us. The age of humanity has come to the end, and the age of people like us has begun. But of course, I need to run some proper tests before I can make the device to spread worldwide. I'm only making a prototype to it for now. See, so you had Gotham stilled off by manipulating events to freeing all the criminals, or villains and criminals, to take over the city, forcing locals to back off, leaving the sealed off part of the city to their control, and using this as a large lab experiment. Exactly. I see. Unfortunately, each piece of tech that we need is in a separate location. The first one is in Metropolis. I don't have the exact location, but that's what you're gonna have to find out. Your mission is to go there, gather information, and pinpoint the location, and infiltrate the building, and take and steal the piece of tech that we need. The pictures on the monitor change into very high-tech computer chip that the core component that Floronic Man needs for the device appeared on the screen. Rose looked at the large black computer chip that's about the size of a medium-sized rat. Here, you might need this. As Floronic Man, hand over a phone and a whole wad of cash. When you get to Metropolis, try to keep under the radar. That whole city is under the protection of the alien called Superman. I don't know what a Superman is, but understood, teacher. I'll keep that in mind while I remain my cover during my investigation. Good. For now, just worry about acquiring the Mark Nova. That's the name of the computer chip that apparently Lex designated. That's what we need. This is a very important component for my invention. Understood. The Mark Nova is good as yours. As Rose opened one of the windows to the blimp and leaped off without no hesitation. Scarecrow watches the girl jump out of the blimp with no fear as she falls downwards right onto the humongous skyscraper-sized eclipse flower. Scarecrow was quite impressed by the lack of fear that he could sense from the girl. Where did you exactly meet this Rose exactly? She's a child of the green. She's quite useful. I have no doubt. She'll have no problem getting what we need. Now that is out of the way. Oh, that Pacific plan is out of the way. Has the Batman appeared yet? Not yet, but soon. The moment Batman and Poison Ivy entered Gotham airspace, they both could see the humongous eclipse flower all over the nearby buildings, and the skyscraper-sized flower in the distance. As Batman noticed, Poison Ivy's territory has been taken over by these prehistoric plants. It seems like someone made themselves nice and cozy in your territory. It seems so. You could drop me off at my old territory. I have no doubt you have some investigations you're going to have to do. Batman landed the plane close enough as Poison Ivy jumped off and landed on the ground, while Batman informed her before he flew off he'll contact her when he has more information, as Bruce flew off heading towards the direction of the Batcave. Meanwhile, Poison Ivy was beginning to explore her territory with a new prehistoric plant life. She sees several hostile plant life lashing out at the nearby criminals. But the dangerous plants did not attack Poison Ivy. They didn't feel threatened by her, so they didn't lash out like they did to the humans. Fascinating. I might as well use this time to research these plants while I'm here. Probably going to take bats sometime before he contacts me anyways. Meanwhile, when Rose finally made contact with the ground, she used a nearby tree to phase through it as a gateway to exit out of Gotham City. As Rose re-emerged outside of the city limits from a large tree, instead of walking to Metropolis, she ran. If anyone saw her right now, they would only see a red blur. We cut to Lois Lane, who's driving back to Metropolis. Not really in the best mood. She's been forced to take a forced vacation. But her fiance Clark is off doing his Superman work. Lois Lane and Clark are already an item. They've been together for a few years. So she's fully aware Clark was Superman. Just wearing glasses and taking them off did not fool her for very long. She didn't show at that time. She didn't confront Clark about it, but eventually she did when they got more serious. She didn't want to at first. She didn't want to get into his personal life like that, but eventually she did, and got the answers where she wanted. But that was in the past. She immediately stopped the car when she saw a little girl wearing a white dress with long red hair walking down the street, on the side of the street, with no shoes, completely barefooted. Lois immediately stopped the car and got out of the car as she parked it to the side and approached the girl. God, oh, what are you walking alone on the side of the road? Where's your parents? Rose tilted her head to the side. Parents? As she shook her head, I don't have what you call parents. Who takes care of you? No one takes care of me. Where exactly are you coming from? Gotham? Oh my God, you poor thing. As Lois Lane exactly knows what's going on in Gotham, Lois took the girl by the hand and led her to the car. Normally, Rose's poison would immediately affect someone making physical contact, but her poison works a tad bit differently. That she learned over the time she's been training. Her poison works. How her poison works, it's a bit differently. She can produce her poison by skin contact, but it also won't affect the person who makes contact with her if Rose doesn't feel threatened. That's why Lois was able to touch Rose without Rose killing her. Now, she's nowhere near have her poison under control. It's just a quirk that her poison has. But Rose did not resist. She knows full well that her cute looks and appearance makes people act more friendly towards her. And having a car ride back to Metropolis is a lot more appealing than walking or running. And the fact that she wasn't told specifically where the building is located that holds the Mark Nova. Her teacher did give her direct orders. The fact that her teacher did not give her direct location irritated her, but she's going to have to stake out several buildings before she has to break into the building. But for now, she'll play the role of the innocent human girl, little girl. Rose found humans to be far more vulnerable when it comes to children, so she used that to her advantage. And this woman with black hair seems to be quite a kind human. She felt bad by deceiving her, but Lois is just a human at the end of the day. Seatbelt, please. By the way, I'm Lois. Rose. What a lovely name. As Lois continued to drive, and it didn't take Lois long to get to the city limits, finally entering Metropolis. After driving down several streets, she had to sharp turn the car to the rear, to the side, as a kryptonite beam almost hit her car. As Lois saw Metallo shoot off several beams of kryptonite energy out of his chest, trying to hit Superman out of the sky. Superman is dodging and weaving in midair around the beams of kryptonite coming from Metallo's chest. Let's see you handle this, Boy Scout. As Metallo armed his energy gun that's attached to his forearm at Superman, immediately shot out twin beams of energy out of the muzzle of the energy gun that's attached to his forearm, that's run on the kryptonite core, his kryptonite heart, for energy, hitting Superman in the chest, forcing him to smash into the ground as he landed on top of a abandoned car. As glass shatter, the metal roof bent once Clark's back made contact with the hard metal surface. Metallo appeared over the downed Superman and slammed his fist into his stomach, making Superman cough up spit, as Metallo grabbed Superman by the hair roughly and threw him into a nearby wall, and immediately shot out a powerful kryptonite beam from his chest. Metallo swiftly appeared right in front of Clark, who is on one knee, breathing heavy. Metallo backhanded Superman across the face, sending him right back into the street, hitting another car, smashing into the car door. When his back made contact with the door, the metal bent as the glass broke. Metallo approached Superman while he got to his feet, as he slammed his knee into Clark's stomach, as Clark coughed up spit and a little bit of blood. As Metallo finally spoke, "This is almost too easy," as he slammed his knee into Superman's stomach once again. "But I gotta admit, this new body of mine, this new upgraded body, packs quite a punch, wouldn't you agree, alien?" As Metallo slammed his elbow into the back of Superman's neck, sending Superman crashing into the ground hard. Metallo kicked Superman on his back. Metallo repeatedly stomped his metal foot into Superman's chest, laughing the entire time. Superman used what strength he has to roll out of the way and leap into a punch, landing a solid hit across Metallo's face, sending him skidding backwards. As Superman struggled to get to his feet, breathing heavy, wiping the blood from his mouth. He's still extremely weak from the continuously exposure to kryptonite and being hit by that kryptonite energy that Metallo can generate from the large chunk of kryptonite in its chest. The kryptonite is more inside Metallo's body instead of his previous body. that is clearly more protected by a middle layer of metal that makes out his chest. The middle metallo chest began to shift, exposing the kryptonite under a glass-like substance. As another blast of kryptonite energy came shooting at Superman. Superman pushed back the energy with his bare hands. Immediately a power struggle progressed, as Superman is slowly being pushed back by the beams of energy, or the beam of energy. No matter how much pain he's in, how weak he feels, he's running on pure determination and will. Meanwhile, once the fight ventured off a little further away, Lois got out of the car and took Rose by the hand and made her way towards her apartment complex, that's a couple blocks away from the Daily Planet. Lois is still worried about Clark, but there's nothing she can do about that. She has no powers, no offensive technology that she could use. She's just a reporter. She'll leave the fighting to her fiancé. Her main concern is right now is get the little girl to safety. The moment she made it to her apartment, she immediately unlocked the door and locked it. She turned on the television to see a broadcast of the fight between Metallo and Superman. What time is it? Oh my god, you must be starving. I'll make you something, any request. There's plenty of stuff in the freezer and refrigerator. I'll even make you something if you want. I also have pizza and burritos. Rose thought about it. In her past life, she was a big fan of pizza, but remembering it and experiencing it in person is a different story. Can I have a pizza? I've never had that before. You can't be serious. As Lois thinks to herself, how sheltered this girl could have been, not even to taste a common food like pizza. Lois stopped thinking on Lois stopped thinking on the subject and gave Rose a warm smile. Sure. No problem, sweetheart. Pizza coming right up. As she went to the kitchen and took out the pizza in her freezer, that was already pre-made from a local pizza shop, though she only froze it just to keep it fresh. When she set the oven on preheat, once the oven was fully preheated, she put the pizza in, that was on top of a pizza pan, into the oven, and closed it, and set the timer as she made her way back to the living room, holding 2 bottles of water. As she handed over one of the bottled waters to Rose, as she drank it gratefully. After about 30 to almost an hour, the pizza was done. When Lois handed her a plate of pizza, Lois was surprised. Rose asked for a knife and a fork. She did thought it was odd, but she handed her a butter knife and a fork. Lois immediately noticed her eating etiquette. It was something you see someone from a rich family, from a higher standard. Lois thinking she might be from a wealthy family, but she's uncertain why she would be alone if that was the case. She's going to have to investigate it later. Something like this would be easy for her after all. She's a renowned reporter. Finding out information that she's not supposed to is like breathing air to her. She's a very driven woman and stubborn. Clark could protest to that. Meanwhile, Superman is still continuing to push the beam of energy and redirect it in the air, using what little strength he has. Superman charged forward and plunged his fist into the chest of Metallo, ripping out his kryptonite heart. But Clark couldn't react fast enough, as Metallo fist struck his face, across his face. Superman was skidding backwards. How is that possible? As Clark started to breathe heavy. It's quite easy, unlike you moron. I learned from each encounter. I just think I'll keep my power source that keeps my body operational exposed like that. It's a good thing this new upgraded body comes with a spare, as the twisted grin appeared on Metallo's face. He's grinning at Superman. As sounds can be heard inside Metallo's body, something shifting, metal moving, chest opening up, as a new kryptonite was installed into the slot where the old one was. As the new glass began to form over the broken pieces of it from Clark's fist from his previous attack. Before Metallo could do anything further, he was contacted. As he's a bit irritated, but he has no choice. I would love to sit here and play with you some more, alien, but I have some things to do. With one powerful blast from his chest, completely engulfing Superman, forcing Superman to go flying backwards into several walls and buildings. Once the beam stopped, Metallo made his swift escape, jumping into the sewer drain and closing the lid as he jumped, and began to travel through the sewer systems of Metropolis. Luckily for Metallo, he could easily fit despite his large, bulky body, leaving Superman confused as soon as Clark frowned, not be able to sense Metallo, nor can he see him. He's clearly too weak to use his X-ray vision right now. He can't even muster any strength to use his heat vision rays, or his heat vision. He's been exposed to kryptonite for far too long. But Clark was relieved that he's able to fly. He'll at least be able to get back to his apartment. Clark knows he'll be fine. He just needs a good night's sleep. He'll be back to normal in the morning in no time. Clark could easily revert the kryptonite poisoning by soaking up the sun, by flying in space. But there's no reason to do any drastic decisions like that. He'll just sleep it off. But first he called Lois, in case. They had a brief conversation. Lois did mention the little girl she took in for now, but Clark was too exhausted to ask any further questions, as he instantly fell asleep on his bed. While Lois had Jimmy buy her some clothes for the small child, sleepwear and extra clothes, she had Jimmy Olsen purchase several different types of white dresses that would fit Rose. Submissive gesture. Jimmy, who's more used to this sort of behavior, just followed her orders. Fighting her would just make things a lot more difficult, and he'll end up doing it anyways. So he did it without any argument. After she got the clothes from Jimmy, she nonchalantly shooed him away. She also got some shoes for Rose. As she had Rose take a bath. After helping her with all the different types of shampoo, conditioners, soap, and body wash, she got her out and had her put on some of the sleepwear that she bought for her. Regardless if it was Jimmy who actually bought it, but Jimmy was using her money, so semantics. Lois doesn't have any extra rooms, or extra beds. So she decides she'll sleep with her in her bed for now. Really, Lois's latent motherly instincts are kicking in when it comes to Rose. That's why she's treating her so nicely. Some more in Metropolis. Metallo has finally arrived at the secret entrance to LexCorp through the sewer system as he made his way towards Lex's office. Once going through the back way, Lex is standing in front of the window of the top floor of his building with his back turned towards Metallo, with his hands behind his back. "You did very well, Metallo. Your new upgrade body is working better than I originally thought it would. Why didn't you stop me from finishing off Superman? We had him. It's not his time to die, Metallo. I will dictate when that alien dies, not you or anyone else. You're my weapon. And weapons don't think. They follow weapons. Well, they follow orders like the good little weapons they are. Remember, you're a click away from your death. I hold all the cards, Metallo. Be a good slave and do what you're told." Metallo might not like it, but he has to obey Luthor. He'll stick to his part of the deal. He'll kiss Superman. And he gets this new, improved, upgrade body of his. He doesn't mind playing the henchman for now. He'll just wait for the perfect opportunity to kill Lex. But for now, he'll buy his time. So what's the plan, boss? Quite simple. You're gonna lay low for a couple days. Then you are going to lure Superman in a trap. And how exactly how I'm going to accomplish that? It's quite simple. There's only one person who's well known to be the closest to that alien. Lois Lane. Exactly. And if you kidnap Lois, he'll come running. Superman might be a godlike entity, but he's predictable. Easily manipulated. And predictable, I can work with. What if she's not alone? Then you take them as well. It'll give that alien bastard, the proper motivation. Remember, let things cool down for 3 days. Then you go act and kidnap the woman. Here, I'll give you the proper coordinates where to go. Understood? Good. Now get out of my sight. As we're gonna cut this part off right here. That's because I don't have any more. So I'm gonna have to make the next part of the script at some point. So, well, it's gonna be sooner than later. And anyways, I've just been more occupied with Oblivion right now. So it is what it is. Okay, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.